Weapons of mass destruction that can cause future that can cause future cause future destruction and stuff. Can't the nuclear weapons also be only for the defense of their own nation? If the US declares a war on USSR by telling that can't the nuclear weapon be a weapon of defense for themselves?
Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. UAE did intercept the convoy heading towards Vladivostok, a port city in the USSR. As we knew that USSR would make more nuclear bombs out of it, and it is the risk for the whole world. And post-intervention, UAE did find the nuclear material through the shipment, and now it is safely kept in the UAE's custody. And the United Bloc will only deposit to the United Nations for its safekeeping, and no one else at any cost. A small mistake while handling nuclear material can fall short cause a disaster which may kill millions of people. This will even be worse than the genocide that is parallelly taking place in Cambodia under the leadership of Demon Paul. This united bloc has numerous solutions to the problems faced by the committee, as in starting with an extensive search of North Vietnamese bodies for the commanders of the united bloc to find the nuclear football at the earliest and safely keep it in our custody before further disaster. The M16 DGES France and the CIA are continuously working round the clock to find the mines and mining equipment that have been implanted in the northwest region of Vietnam that belongs to USSR. As traces of cesium-341 were found on the land directly coming from the entire region.
How is the honor killing laws? Do you condemn honor killing?
We are trying to ban honor killing.
Do you know the statistics of the number of women who have killed in the name of honor killing in your country?
But the thing is that we are trying to remove it. But we are.
Recently, there's been an entire upsurge in your country because of the honor killing of a 22-year-old female by the father. What is the government doing over there?
So that's the thing. We are taking action. We are trying to.
What actions are you taking?
I believe we took action against the father, but there started to be riots that were in favor of the father, and to keep much a larger number of population safe from the riots, the men, women, and children safe from the riots. We had to let him walk free.
Delegates, your country gets up in riot because you arrested a man, so you let him walk free.
No.
When he's killed his own daughter, very brutally killed her, people rise up in riot, and that's an enough reason and a good enough reason for you to finish.
Oh, you know the USA and Iraq, please tell me. Delegate, what was the pretext for your invasion of Iraq?
Don't ask for the context of that.
Okay, delegate, so you have context?
In 2003, because my country was under dictatorship, and he believed
No worries.
my country was under dictatorship, and he believed that there were weapons of mass.
Correct, delegate. Very good. You know history, delegate, because you've been oppressed. Delegate, basically, I think what the United States did. You have invaded Iraq on the pretext of there being WMDs in Iraq. You have destroyed the human population. You have destroyed their infrastructure, their means of livelihood. You have left. The way you came, you left. Alright? That is all. Please believe it. Delegate, if I'm not mistaken, by 2006,
The Crown Prince is looking forward to increasing employment rates for women and stuff. Thank you. And, are there any points? Yes, Arya.
What is parliament?
Yes, Arya.
What is the time limit of the for each?
90 seconds.
90. It's set 90.
I, the delegate of Western Federation, will speak on topic periods don't stop for constraint. The passage of time. The passage of time does not cease for pandemics or war. Governments and aid organizations contribute to protect protect the humanity and dignity of all people, as well as to maintain everyone's right, including the right to a healthy menstrual cycle. The COVID-19 epidemic is
Delegates, you have to be a bit more loud.
the COVID-19 epidemic is adding to the strain on the resources already available. Period products should be included in relief packages. Organizations should provide contextually and culturally appropriate menstrual health education and ensure that women, adolescent girls, and others who menstruate have access to private, clean, and safe spaces so that everyone can manage their periods effectively with safety precautions and with understanding. Therefore, there are a number of organizations that are working to address these challenges. These organizations are providing menstrual products, education, and support to women in Russia and all around the world who need it.
Affected communities. Engaging with affected communities, conducting needs assessments, and involving them in decision making are crucial for long term success. Implementing comprehensive agricultural and economic diversification programs, promoting crop substitution and value chains can help farmers transition away from illicit drug crops and cultivate legal high value crops. Investing in infrastructure development and access to essential services like education, healthcare, and clean water is essential for market access, productivity, and employment opportunities. International cooperation and partnerships are crucial for successful implementation of alternative development programs. Together, we can empower communities, eradicate poverty, and break the cycle of drug production.
GSR on day 2, it's a pretty good piece. For him, is it YRBDB? No, all right. The delegate of Russia is there, please. And delegates, please send in one point of information. What is Putin posters? Choose one. Choose one.
Because of your belief, apparently, that USSR was going to use it to make bombs. Right? Yes. What gave rise to that belief? Because USSR has never ever threatened or planned nuclear warfare.
Are you going to take evidence out of it?
Personal belief, you can't personal belief.
He has a right to
Can I answer to that?
Send it via shit, but I don't get that question. You can't question someone's belief.
It's only up to you. Please.
Like, I'm saying, I'm not letting his question stand because he's attacking your personal belief. Why do you want to answer?
Delegate of Saudi Arabia.
So, do you think that violating our border policy is correct?
Send an amendment. Delegate of who did I recognize? Russia.
Delegate of Maldives, I think you've experienced that. All delegates, so we'll move ahead with the order of precedence. The delegate of Indonesia's motion will now be discussed upon and voted upon. Alternative development, with the topic being alternative development implementation. So total time period of 24 minutes, allotting a minute per speaker. All those in favor, please raise your placards. Delegate of Indonesia, you cannot raise your placard. Okay, basically the entire committee. All those against? Motion clearly passes. Delegate of Indonesia, would you like to be the first speaker or would you like to reserve your right to speak?
First speaker.
First speaker, delegate, thank you so much. All right, delegates, we will now be accepting about 23 more speakers. We will accept everyone right now. So please raise your placards and I'll recognize you based on the order of your recognition. Delegate of Maldives, you've been recognized. Delegate of Cambodia, you've been recognized. Delegate of Thailand, you've been recognized.
To destroy their ports, and by doing that, do they think that their civilians will not be attacked or not be touched by this? And by putting trade routes, by putting trade routes in the midst of rising tensions, do they think that they will not face any more economic crisis because their ships can be sunk by the enemy and by the enemies as they are supporting the US and as they are opening up their ports for the US and their allies? On a parliamentary query.
What's the question? Delegate asked.
I'm sorry, wait, I was looking at something. Delegate, here, please phrase it as a question and keep it concise.
Want to speak, then over to finish the rest of the speakers, we'll accept. We'll recognize. Alright? So, guys. Don't worry, I'm there for this. Alright, so apart from that, what we'll be doing now is this. You guys will first have your 2 mod counts. Post which I'll give you an unmod, a long unmod, possibly by the tea break time. After the tea break, I expect you all to come back. And what will happen is this. You guys will be putting forth or introducing the working papers. There are 2 different sets. There are 2 working papers. Spectators at the back, if you guys want to speak, please move on. There will be 2 sets of working papers. I hope I've made that clear. 2 authors each. Number of signatories must be 1/3 of committee. There are 24 in committee. That means you need at least 8. Excluding the authors for that to be. You can be signatories on both papers. That doesn't matter. Like Afghanistan, understand. You can be signatories on both papers. It really doesn't matter. It's just that you want the papers to be discussed. Now your lobby comes into effect. How many people you can poach in lobby? You should not have a direct demarcation. If you have a direct demarcation of 2 blocks, then you'll never be able to pass anything, right? You'll have 12 and 12. You need 13 people, correct? Yeah. So you need 13 people for anything to pass. First, we will introduce the working paper. If that motion fails by 1 vote or 2 votes, or in general, if that motion fails, that working paper will not be introduced to committee. So it will never see the light of day.
See, one more reason why I completely gave it to one side right now is because my last 2 updates, the Western Bloc was completely destroying the other side. Yeah. That's why. I know. No. Again, it wasn't fully because of your directives. There were a lot of the AFUFA directives which are actually good, which would have taken back a lot of cities. But I just graded them and I let you take a lot of cities for the crisis update. PRC. So we kept sending communiques and conversing with Joseph Stalin and all, and convincing him to join the war. And the last update, finally the chair agreed to let Stalin enter the war. Stalin came, nuclear bombed everyone. Because we asked him to nuclear bomb USA and all the.
So UK was over at that time also.
Yeah. So I just did the same thing that I did in that committee as the end. Why? Huh? Why is it wrong? It's fun, bro. All the delegates are doing it. All the delegates. No. I personally don't agree with communism. I personally am quite anti-communist. No, but it's just fun to see that the world just ends up communist. No, because it's something that I dislike, and it's just a funny thing to see that the world.
Cuba is currently communist also. Cuba is currently communist. I think we would just trust everything. We just trust everything.
This one pass, right?
It didn't really pass it.
Today, I, the delegate of Colombia, am here to present my views and help DPRK solve the Korean Civil War crisis, which would lead to the betterment of Korean Peninsula. Colombia believes that every country has a right to fight for its culture and identity. Netherlands has said that it felt betrayed by the fact that Colombia had converted into a communist state. Honorable delegates, Colombia asked the world that doesn't every country have a right to decide its culture? Doesn't if it does, why does it come under every human right? In the presidential statement given by Vietnam, it mentioned that as a democracy, it supports freedom of speech. On the other hand, in the same statement, it mentioned that it suppressed the people who supported communism. So how does that justify its actions? Isn't that contradictory to what Vietnam said, killing people just because they support communists? Where are the human rights now? India can do possible and do whatever it can so that North Korea can become glorious and
Republic of Korea and Republic of Korea is between the 2 countries, and the intervention of UN was unnecessary and wrong. What's wrong with communism? What hate do capitalists have against communism? The United Nations ignored the brutal acts committed by South Korea. South Korea tried suppressing communism by killing 30,000 civilians, and the only response they have is that the civilians burned down 11 police stations worth 30,000 lives. How does the United Nations justify this action? How is South Korea going to be a diplomatic country if it surpasses its own citizens? Canada will provide anything it can to the Democratic Republic of Korea and take over the Korean Peninsula. The attack on Republic of Korea was not an act of surrender, it was an act of human rights.
In 1950, when North Korean forces crossed the 30th parallel, Canada took a resolute stand alongside its allies to restore peace and stability. Thousands of brave Canadian soldiers selflessly served in the Korean War, risking their lives in the pursuit of justice. Canada's contribution extended beyond military might. Our nation was dedicated to providing essential support to war-torn Korea. Canadian medical teams worked hard, saving countless lives and reducing the suffering of the Korean people. Canada's involvement in the Korean War exemplified our steady commitment to global peace and security. It showcased our dedication to the defending the values we hold: freedom, democracy, and human rights. Today we remember and honor the sacrifice made by the brave Canadian men and women who served in the Korean War.
Russia, USSR, in his speech, in his presidential statement, stated that a general of his went against the policies of USSR and committed several atrocities on the farmer. Yet he refuses to agree that a similar occurrence can happen when an MI6 agent of UK goes rogue and then commits actions on his own accord against the President Stalin of USSR. So this is highly hypocritical of USSR. Other than that, obviously the UN and its allied nations have made major developments and have pushed back all the troops of the Afufa, and we are making good progress, and the community
Delegate of India.
Thank you, President, for giving me the stage. The delegate of India would like to discuss about the Korean War rising hostilities. It is essential to assess the situation quickly and suggest practical multilateral solution to re-establish peace and stability. We recognize the seriousness of the situation and the necessity for a true response. Now, I will like to discuss about the immediate ceasefire and diplomatic resolution. India emphasizes the urgent need for ceasefire in the Korean War, given the rapidly deteriorating scenario. Our opinion is that finding a peaceful solution should be a top priority for all parties. In order to diffuse emotions and stop more casualties and property damage, our committee should concentrate on creating an atmosphere that is conducive to meaningful conversation. As now, India have a new trade relation in the midst of the conflict with Japan, Norway, Republic of China, and the United Kingdom. So it will help in places a high priority to addressing the humanitarian effect in the Korean War.
Excellent work in attacking and not only regain South Korea's territory but also captured few cities of North Korea. North Korea has already lost 250,000 soldiers in the war, and if they don't surrender, the number of deaths will be into it.
We move on to the next speaker, delegate of Norway.
Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. The delegate of Norway would like to say that the Korean War is a conflict which can raise World War III, and we need to ensure this conflict does not raise World War III. And North Korea should surrender to South Korea. If North Korea surrender, South Korea will take the control of the whole Korean peninsula. If it's required, we'll send more medical staff to South Korea to the capital.
Delegate, could you be a bit loud?
Yeah. Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. The delegate of Norway.